So what I want to do is I want to challenge you through this book and some conversation we're going to have about the book. And I want you, if you have a comment, you want to type it in the question, you can online. And I'm again glad to have all of you online with us, and we'd love to have you do that. Let me start with the review of the book, Bored and Brilliant. Now, Manoush Zomorodi argues that boredom is not the enemy, it is the birthplace of creativity, problem solving, self-reflection, and spiritual clarity. Now that's interesting, because you would think that busy would be the origin of that place. That if I'm busy and I'm meeting people, I'm networking, I'm reading, somehow that's where I get my greatest inspiration. I think there's inspiration in that. But what's powerful is, she says it's the birthplace of creativity, problem solving. When you sit still and you reflect and you have spiritual clarity, there's a better way that you think and process. I used to do my sermons every week. I used to do them every Thursday, Friday, and have them ready by 12 o'clock Friday. That was my target. Sometimes it leak over into Saturday. What I discovered was, as I was working, I found myself always tight. So I changed my approach, and I started preparing sermons by the month. And then I started preparing them by the quarter. And what I discovered was I had a whole quarter to think about it, or a whole month to think about it. So because my sermon themes are already outlined for the month, and I'm already in January, February, March, my mind is clear. I can kind of see where I'm going. It's kind of like leading people. You know where they're going. And that's what her point was. It brings clarity to your life. Boredom, she says, in modern life, especially smartphones, has eliminated healthy boredom processes. So look at it this way. This phone, and she spends a lot of time. Did you find that fascinating?
Yes. Yeah.
You did? Yeah, right. What was it that she said that made this fascinating? What was it?
What it was to me, it was mentioned with the phone that Bored and Brilliant is living smarter and being better with how you use digital.
Me and Brian can hear each other, but we can't hear
To
you.
me, it was not just having it on you all the time, how to put it away and not let it dominate your life.
But it's like it talks to you, right?
I know.
Right?
One person referred to it as their best friend, like a best friend that knows the best and the worst of them. Yeah. And I think the thing that I found, I won't say most fascinating, but really fascinated about it is it's not anti-technology. It's not anti, all of the things, the good part is, but it's showing you the other side of how you can be dominated by something that's really good, and the potential impact of what happens to you with that. And I love the part with, because I think for one, I like that because it's one of my pet peeves, is nothing worse than really being in a conversation. You think you're being in a conversation with someone, but they're constantly doing this the whole time. And it's like, oh, what'd you say? Then you have to repeat. And it's almost like you're just not fully present. So it was just, oh my goodness. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm always,
She's gonna bring the mic. She's gonna bring the mic too, so they can hear you online. So Virginia can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, this book caused me to do a lot of self-reflection, self-awareness, to see how smart and better I can be in a digital world. So I had to check Dorothy. I had to check myself. How does my phone dominate me, or how do I control how I use my phone, which was very, very helpful to me.
Yeah, we got more people coming in here. I think it's incredible. 2,000 times a day we're looking at our phone. 2,600 times. I thought that was incredible. That we're touching our phone 2,600 times a day, and they're incredibly helpful. I mean, as a tool, technology has made my life a lot easier in a lot of ways. AI and all the stuff that I use has made my life better in so many ways. But it is amazing. You had a comment?
Yeah. With some of the history or research that she did with that, I did find it sort of humorous that when we really started promoting books, it was like too many books, too many books. The same way we're saying, it's too much social media, too much this. And so each stages of advancement in our culture brings, this whole dynamic that you have to learn how to balance, because, books are great. And they even promote even having some of the hard copy books in addition to, electronic books or whatever, just because of that whole dynamic of your brain.
I think it is helpful. Anybody else who want to comment over here? I'll make you work today, my friend. Come on.
I think the most important thing is balance. And like you're saying, technology is not the enemy. It's how you use it. Not get addicted to it, and actually balance it out. And I think she stressed that all through the book. In the classroom, when they took away laptops, people were conversing more and more, eye-to-eye contact, more communication in the room. So it's all a matter of balance. That's what I got from it.
Seeing things in balance is important. I mean, I think the way we see things, like for example, last time we did this, 250 people or so were online with us. So there are a lot of people watching, but you have to see it through a different lens. And in life, you have to see everything through a different lens. You have to understand that everybody is different. Everybody has a different way of seeing it. And what she does is she puts on these new glasses where we look at it and say, technology is not a bad thing, but it has to be seen through the proper lens. So just great stuff. So let me press on here. Her claim is, if you want to think better, create better, live better, you must reclaim boredom. I like the fact that she says you got to reclaim it. Have you ever claimed it? Have you ever thought it was okay? Have you ever felt like guilt-free free time?
And maybe you can elaborate to make it clearer. I'm not sure I fully grasp her definition of boredom. It's almost like she paralleled boredom with having really nothing to do or not using technology, as opposed to just being, I don't know if can you clarify that, your thoughts on that?
I didn't think she was saying boredom is doing nothing. Boredom is not having to be always under the gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Where you're not always like this. And but believe me, for some people and for a lot of people, be interesting to see how much you ever really slow down. You know what I mean? You may not be able to even see it, that you never really slow down. Because I don't know that people think I ever really slow down. You know what I'm saying? That I do. She went like this. Y'all can't see her. She's like this. Hey, Angela, good to see you join us too. Yeah. When Angela Taylor disassociates you from the world and causes you a lack of socialization, if you're not aware, scroll up a little bit, like Angela said. She said, disassociates you from, she's one of our always here too, Angela people. That's it, yeah. If you are not aware. So I think, Angela, you're saying that boredom disassociates you from the world and causes you a lack of socialization. The book says that. I think that's what she's trying to say. Type in this, give me some more, Angela, so I can respond better to what you're saying. What were you going to say, sir?
It says, when you space out, your brain is not necessarily switch off. And I think that's the boredom she's talking about. Like, you're spaced out, you're bored, but your mind is still going. She made another reference to artists, a painter. They're basically solitary. I mean, there was no one around, there was no team, there's anything. And that's when they do their best work. I mean, so she makes a case for isolation. And I think that's what she equates with boredom. And she makes the point that's when the creative juices really flow, when you're isolated.
I agree. I agree. I think it does. Are you telling me to, let me see. I think there's something, there is a, I can't see if you're trying to call me. Okay. I don't think so. I'll let you go ahead.
When I looked at initially at page 21, when she says, when you are given nothing to do, your thoughts don't stop.
Yes, that's good.
Right. And that really made me think, because I can remember growing up, I'm from a family of 12, 6 boys and 6 girls. And I remember my older brother saying one day to my dad, I'm bored. And daddy say to him, what are you going to do about it? Which stuck with me, like, that's on you. How do you want to handle yourself when there is nothing to do? And so that came back to me like, okay, I need to give myself more time off from trying to do things because I need to self-reflect.
Seems like it'd be hard to be bored with 12 people in the house.
Oh, well, someone was leaving each year.
Oh.
I'm number 9 out of 12.
I think it's important to have moments of deep reflection. And I think it's important. And I think they're trying to give me a signal. Is Angela she wants to call? Is that what it is?
No.
No? Is that what it is? No?
She said, this is when she made reference to the use of the phone.
Oh, she's talking about the use of phone. Okay. And this associates you from the top. Okay. This associates you from the word. That's what the phone does. Okay. And you're right. It does. As a matter of fact, this now connects you to the world in a way where you never really stop thinking. You take it to the bathroom, you take it with you to the bath, you take it everywhere. I mean, if you're honest, you take it a lot of places you would normally take phones. And yes.
And did you watch the documentary they did with
Handle the microphone, please. Sorry, go ahead.
the guy that created the iPhone, the Steve Jobs? And I think one of the points they make in there, the very thing that he wanted us to do in terms of being able to communicate has somehow wedged that in a way that, you know, it's still communication, but it's very differently. We don't talk as much.
Well, it's taken over.
Yes.
I mean, it's taken over. And now you've got this artificial intelligence that talks for you. I don't know if do you guys ever talk to your AI at all? Anybody ever done it? You ever done it? Never done it? Yeah, it's really quite amazing. Let's see if it'll do it for me. Hey, Chad, are you there?
Hey there. Yep, I'm right here and ready to help. What's on your mind today?
I have a question for you. Have you ever seen the book Broad and Brilliant?
I haven't come across a book called Broad and Brilliant before, at least not
Sorry,
by that
I
exact-
apologize. I said it wrong. I meant Bored and Brilliant.
I got it. No worries at all. So Bored and Brilliant, that one I do know. It's a book by Manoush Zomorodi. Basically, it dives into how embracing a little boredom can actually spark creativity and help you come up with brilliant ideas. If that's the one you're thinking of, I'm happy to chat more about it.
How does she define boredom?
Yeah, so in Bored and Brilliant, Manoush Zomorodi really talks about boredom as kind of this mental state where your mind gets a break from constant stimulation. Instead of seeing boredom as something negative, she defines it as this opportunity to let your brain wander, daydream, and actually come up with new ideas. So in her view, boredom is like a doorway to creativity.
Thank you. You've been very helpful.
You're so welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you have any more questions, just let me know.
Do you know my name?
I sure do. You're Pastor Ricky Temple. We've chatted quite a bit and you've got a lot of awesome projects going on. So you're definitely a memorable presence here.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Absolutely. Always here whenever you need me. Talk to you later and have a great day.
She said she's not able to.
And one of the things, one of the stories
Yeah.
or pieces of technology that she references in there is also that.
Hold, you got the microphone? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One of the things that she references with you talking to Chat, of course, there's that whole conversation with, you know, you're talking with artificial intelligence. I
Right.
know you do.
Right.
And but the person that this invisible, I don't want to say dating site, but for individuals that really need some love and affection, somebody just sends them a message of affirmation, love, and care every day. And she said before she was, she's kind of thought to criticize that. It ended up being with an individual that, because of his disability, didn't feel like people would perceive him a certain way, but it was still something that he needed. So, I mean, it's still two sides with everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Chat GPT. Angela wants to know what it is. And I have the pro version. So the version I have has a memory and it can remember our conversation. I can say, what did I talk about last week? I can ask it all kinds of questions. And I use a lot of it for research. It's an amazing, but I realize that part of what she says is the importance of being still. So I have a question. Yes, what you got? What you got online?
No, I have.
You have a question? You got the microphone?
Myself, yes.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
I feel like, well, with our generation, a lot of times we equate being bored with laziness. And I feel like a lot of people are just so quick to hustle and get things done. They feel like if they're not doing anything, they're not doing enough. So my question was, what spiritual practices will help us unlearn the idea that boredom equals laziness?
Well, I think that the Bible doesn't teach be exhausted. Let's start with that. That the idea of being always on the edge of fatigue is somehow better for you. If you look at the practice of Jesus, he often stepped aside, he often prayed, he was often in meditation. He spent 40 days in the wilderness, and from the beginning of the New Testament in Matthew chapter 4, you have scores of examples of him taking a break. And the Sabbath creation, you see God works 6 days until the seventh day, and it's holy and sacred. Sabbath has always been a big part of the biblical model. It has never been the feast days. I think one guy said they estimate that probably as much as 3 months of the calendar year had celebrations in it in Israel's history. They were always having a party about something, about some feast day holiday. Remember this, remember that, remember this, remember that. And so I think if you look at the model in the Bible, you don't see an exhausted culture. In this culture, you see it because you're chasing money most of the time, and you're chasing success. And once you get it, you find out it's not what you thought it was. So I think if you look at the biblical model, that's where you'd see that example. Okay, somebody else. Okay, so let's press on. The key insights and takeaways from the book that I thought were pretty impressive. Neuroscience shows that when you are bored, your brain enters the default mode network, a mental state where memory connects with imagination. That's what you were talking about a minute ago, Dorothy. Problems untangle. Ideas surface. Long-term decisions become clear. One of the smartest things I've ever done, I think, in my life and with my family is to push them towards rest. I made a comment in church last Sunday. It was the last Sunday at 11 o'clock. And we're going to post that one. That sermon with the college kids has a lot of energy in it. It really does. And one of the things that I said to them was, I said, when I came home, my mom would always let me detox. She'd always let me just sit still. You don't have to do anything. I could watch my favorite show, which was Hobo Kelly. Google it. Hobo Kelly. It's so corny. It's just crazy, you know. But I remember, do you remember Hobo Kelly? No. Oh, it did. And I used to watch Space Ghost, Batman, and I would just sit there and just, and she felt you need to just do nothing, then do your homework later. What parents do is they force you to do your homework. And so I mimicked parents in church, and the kids erupted. They erupted, clapped their hands. It was probably one of the loudest outbursts, and they started stomping. Yes, that is it. Preach the Bible, Pastor Ricky. And they kept looking back at their parents, and the parents, there you go. Oh, Lord Jesus, have mercy. I got people calling me. Let me make sure that can't happen again. Yeah. So it was just amazing how in the middle of a lot of what was happening in my early days, my mom taught me the value of stopping. Every weekend we probably went to the movies too much, but we used to always have a weekend together shopping or movies or something. And so I had a lot of rest time growing up. I was never raised in a culture of being overly busy. And I think that makes a big difference. It really does. So memory connects with imagination, problems untangle, ideas surface. I get better ideas when I'm not rushed. People tell me, it's really funny. They tell me about my life, which is interesting. They'll say things to me like, they'll say, so Pastor, I know you're busy. I just know. And they always start with that. You know, I'll call you, but I know. And I always go, well, how do you know this? I mean, they really assume it, and I never agree with them. I always say, just call me. I just, if I can't answer, I won't answer. I'm slaying a dragon. I'll call you when the dragon lets me go. I mean, I just think there's something healthy about that, but I think it's unhealthy, and I really believe this. It's unhealthy to be too busy, and you see it in our church schedule. My conviction leaked over to our church schedule because our church schedule is not like that. Every fourth Sunday off is, in my opinion, brilliant. Because churches have become these machines of busy. There's always something to do, always something to do. If you're faithful in the churches, we burn out. We always burn out the most faithful people, and they eventually backslide to survive us. That's the only way they can live. They have to backslide, leave God, leave the church, move away. Because as long as they're present, we're calling them to lead worship every Sunday. We have rehearsal every week. I don't even allow them to have rehearsals every week. The music group has rehearsals once a month. We made that change years ago. You cannot volunteer but more than for two items. We don't let you volunteer more than for that. Services are an hour and 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes for a reason. It's exhausting to stand for an hour and sing. It's exhausting. What you're trying to say, worship God. You get on the dance floor and I get on the dance floor, I can sit down when I want to. There's no pressure. I can leave the party when I want to, because they use that parallel. You used to go to the club and stay all night. Yes, but I was having fun. I was talking to friends. I was moving from table to table. You know what I'm saying? And I could leave when I please. But here in church, you got to put your finger up. You got to give excuses. You know what I'm saying? And then it's the only place you go that asks you for money for a long time. A lot of pressures in church. I'm not against it. I'm just saying Jesus didn't create that. We did in our culture. And part of what happens is you end up creating this exhausting culture that over the years wears out people. And here's how you can know that this is true. You ready? 80% of people don't go. 80%. Think of the people you know. Out of 10 of the people you know, how many of them come to church on a regular basis? Think about it. And saying that of the 20% that go, they go once a month. They go every 4 to 6 weeks. And only 3 on the average church is really 1 to 2 out of 10 that give a tithe, or that really give and support the church. Most of the money, 80% of our money comes from, a few hundred people. I mean, very, very, and it's a couple of thousand, almost 2,500 people here. It's amazing how you find out that exhausting churches create exhausting results. And so what we did was we changed it. We flipped it. And when COVID came back, we just didn't change our schedule. We stayed. I thought that this is heavily. I had a friend tell me the other day. He said, during COVID, a lot of churches took in more money and touched more people online. After COVID, they went back to the old ways, and it's amazing. Have less money and fewer people coming. Yeah. And they're trying to force people to come back in the building. 250 people will watch this. Is that failure? I don't think so. 400 people will watch what happened the other day. 1,300 people came in prayer with me on prayer line this week, probably representing about 800 to 900 people. This week, we had our prayer at 15 minutes in the morning, 15 in the evening. I mean, we had 208 Thursday morning. 208 people came. That was a Friday morning. It's amazing. So I'm saying, if 208 people will get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to hear you talk for 15 minutes, because they don't have 30 minutes. They don't have an hour. You ever seen the YouTube, it says hour and 15 minute sermon, hour and 30 minute sermon? I don't have time to sit here for an hour and 15 minutes and listen to you. I can listen to you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We do these things on television, and it's called a bounce rate. And when I'm on TV during the news hour, those motivational moments that come on here, Toby TLC, and when they gave me the reports, they said our bounce rate was high, which means people would bounce on and bounce off. It's called your bounce rate. And so we have 2 levels of communication in media here on the TV station. We have the TV station live during the news hour, and then we have the internet version. So when I do a motivational moment, I do a 30-second motivational moment and I do a 15-second motivational moment. So I do 2. So if I'm doing the same thing, I have to do a long version and a short version. On the short version, 15-second ones, well, we used to do a minute. We used to do 30-second ones. The 30-second ones had a high bounce rate. When we went down to 15 seconds, so we created a 15-second version, the bounce rate almost went, it was amazing. It sliced it way down. People don't have that long. So my video comes on, when you're trying to get to a video, you ever seen that? You're trying to get to a video and the video comes on. When the video comes on, people just can't sit there that long. If they hit skip, if they can, right? But if it's 15 seconds, they won't skip it. That makes sense, right? So my point is understanding attention spans, understanding that you wear people out, and you have to learn how to not make people exhausted. And the culture where we think being busy, like you said, is somehow a sign of success. It helps you see that's not true. I put some Bible in my notes here. I love this statement. And your mind needs space to wander before it can innovate. Your mind needs space to wander before it can innovate. If it doesn't get a chance to wander, nothing, no deadlines, no appointments, just nothing. You will never, ever innovate. Psalms 46 and 10 says this: be still and know that I'm God. Be still. It's a call to solitude. Stillness opens spiritual imagination. There's something healthy about a pastor or a leader or a department or a church having absolutely nothing to do. I discovered that on fourth Sunday, when we stop, fifth Sunday and first Sunday is always amazing because they come back refreshed. They come back alive. It's powerful. Phones, though, have rewired our brains. Tell me how. How have they rewired our brains?
I'm not sure if it's the answer, but the thing that comes to mind is we use it to replace memory. We let it remember.
Wow.
And phone numbers, addresses, even with photography. You think about photos, of course, you know, I come up in a generation where the big deal was to have photo albums. Mm-hmm. Now we create electronic photo albums, but we have 5 million pictures, so we can't find any of them because we don't sort them and that kind of thing. So I'm not, you know, I just think it's the value that it brings. There's also something that is not perfected in us. I don't want to say we lose anything, but we're so dependent on it with appointments, the calendars versus trying to remember. And it's like this second person that's come alongside you to, you know, help you function throughout the day. And I think it's disruptive in a way with the interruptions, because sometimes all I want to do is use it for what I picked it up for. But then there's these other dings and prompts and all this other stuff. It's like having someone, you're trying to have a conversation, they keep interrupting you. It can be rude. Sound like a man.
Fascinating. Okay.
As a educator in the school system, we realized that a lot of our students, and I was with middle schoolers and high school, didn't know their phone number. We knew phone numbers because we had little black books and we had to write them down. And so the brain will hold on to something written more than just floating in the air. And so we did this thing where we asked parents, you know, what are your children's phone number? And we asked children, what were their phone numbers? And they didn't know it. So that let us know that their brain was processing things in a different way than it was when I was growing up, because we knew our phone number. We knew the neighbor's phone number. So the brain was just processing things differently because of society.
Okay. And I'll come out. Go ahead.
But basically, I'm saying the same thing. It actually affected our attention span. Actually, for those of us that rarely stay on the phone, it actually affects our attention span. And I reference that also. I used to know phone numbers. Nowadays, it's right here. Used to know phone numbers. Nowadays, there's no need for that. You actually telephone like you did with JP. Call Pastor Rick, and without even looking at the number, it calls Pastor Rick. So why commit anything to memory, you know, when it's right there? Okay.
She calls it concentrated thought.
Yes.
We're not used to concentrated thought.
It's amazing, though. And towards the end of the book, he was saying that the parents the guys that did Apple, and they keep their kids away from the phone. I mean, they send them to a non-tech school. I mean, wooden desks, things like more tactile, and it's amazing. It's that the people you would think that's innovating the technology, you would think that their kids would be, the ones, but
And they're
actually,
not.
they say no, they don't.
Well said. Let me jump in before you come up, Marcia. I want to say this before you. Part one. Well, let me let Marcia speak, and then I'll come back and I will comment. Go ahead, Marcia.
I was going to say it takes the place of family time as well. Because when you're to the table eating there on the phone, you're not communicating. So it does that as well.
I think it's healthy to draw lines, and I think there's I did this a study. I looked up this. I don't know if I can find it quickly now, but it had. See, I'm gonna pick up my phone while I'm talking to you because it's convenient.
Yes.
It's convenient. It helps me. I want to find something. I couldn't find it. Excuse me. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and we're talking about horses. Yeah, here it is. And he was saying how they were against AI and all this, and I said, there's some articles, you can't see it at home, but automobiles this is something that happened years ago, early 1900s. Automobiles are a passing fad. Stick with the horse.
Wow.
That's what the promotion said, and it had a person in an automobile and a person with a horse, and it was saying stick with the horse. Cars were dismissed as toys for the rich. Predictions that they would never replace the reliability of horses. Cartoons mocked cars breaking down while horses kept moving. Sometimes people cannot see the long-term usefulness of a technology. Fear blinds them to future benefits. Then it's another one that said, save our streets, keep the horses. See,
Same thing like you said, it was just too many books. Right.
part of what I think you have to do, and this is really hard for religious people because of the way we've been programmed to think. So we're talking about how the phone programs us. Culture programs you more than a phone does in many ways, where it's hard for you to imagine certain things. When you're trying to be successful and you're trying to advance and you have all these many things you have to do, technology can help you bring it together. You know, in my house, I have 2 washers, 2 dryers, and I just bought me a new one, a new washer. It's amazing.
Not to have a third one, though.
I would if I could. I wish I had now. I mean, no, I have 2. I have double decker. No, I have a dryer, double. I have a single, so I have 4 units, 2 washers, 2 dryers. Okay, it's mean. It's wonderful, and because it allows me to finish stuff fast. That's just me, right? And what's amazing is, I thought about how back in the day, everything was done by hand. If I could bring a person from the early 1900s to my house and say, here, wash your clothes. My kids, when they come, they bring their clothes.
Yes.
They do. And they the first thing they do, and you know, Ricky and his wife and family were with me for 7 days last week, 2 weeks ago. And I didn't know they were going to stay. They just said, hey, I think we're going to stay with you guys. No, they were going to go someplace else. So they decided to just spontaneously stay at my house. I'm glad it's clean. That's very nice. And his room. So, but when they came, because they came from the ladies' conference, when they came, they headed straight to the laundry room. And everybody started washing. It's got big counters and so it's really a cool room. I like it a lot. But here's my point. The technology made it easier. Technology used well can help you, but you got to weigh it out. And so I embrace it. I think the key is balance. That's it. Yes. What you got? Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get to yours. Mary's online. I'll come to you in a second. How can women who work and take care of children and the home, keep from being burnt out, because just taking care of children seems like a 24/7 job. They don't have time to be bored. What you do is you get your 2 washers and 2 dryers. Anyway, no, what you do is you just, you take charge of your life. You want to create some boredom time, and you just start saying no and yes. I think the biggest problem in homes, you got to run your home. You got to drive your life like you drive a car. You have to say, this is how we're going to go to bed. For example, if I had that many kids, without all the clothes for the week, we organize the lunches for the week. We organize everything and we work ahead. And it's when you do that, you get ahead of the game. I have a little saying, you save tomorrow today. So if you prepare ahead, that's the only way you can survive in that, Mary. It's the only way you can survive in that is that you have to be more organized. You have to demand that we live within these boundaries, and they have to work with you. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. It becomes a 24/7 job, like you say. We have to do that in order to fix it. She says you don't have time to be bored. Well, you can fix it so that, excuse me, if you don't find a way to stop the 24/7 and you don't give your brain a chance to reset, it just becomes a place full of tension and strife and difficulty. And I think you have to organize. A church this size, if I can live like that. We can live by, flying around, and we'll end up fighting and arguing. Stop, pause, organize, come with a plan that gets us there. If for example, and allow me to belabor for a minute, if for example, lunch is a problem, laying out clothes is a problem, laundry is a problem, stop washing clothes once a week. Wash every day. Give everybody assignments. Come up with an organized plan. If your team won't join you in the fight, you're going to lose. It's just going to be chaotic. But if you can get the team on board, husband, you, if you're a single parent, I'm not sure what your story is, but if you can get the team on board, you can have a better life. I pastor thousands of people. I pastor hundreds of folks all the time. I'm always got a lot today. I have 3 events today. I preached a whole lot this week. I've got a lot going on in my life, but in the middle of it all, I let people help me. It's all about the team. So nobody can solve this problem for you but you, and coming up with a strategy and a plan works. You got more questions, email me at pastor.overcomingbyfaith. We'll talk some more. Thank you. Yes.
And on that same note, I think the premise of the book, or her inspiration for writing the book, is having that whole experience of coming out of a professional environment and having a first baby that was very colicky and wouldn't sleep unless she rolled it around. And then when she went back to work, it was like, man, I can really see the value and how much I missed, rather than embracing the season with where she was in at that particular time. So I thought it was a great point, because again, that was just the whole idea of what inspired her to even look at that closer.
And again, Mary, my email is pastor@overcomingbyfaith.org. Pastor at what church? Overcomingbyfaith.org. Somebody else had a comment, question? Okay, let's press on. Did you had one? I'm sorry. Yes.
You kind of already answered my question about the phones.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you.
Okay, great. She goes on. Church people often say that they can't hear God, but often the noise of life is louder than the voice of God. And you have to quiet the noise of life. I say no more than I say yes. And I've decided I'm going to say no a little bit more, because I have goals that I want to accomplish. And I can't accomplish them if I'm saying yes to everything. It's too much noise. You tell me you're too involved in other people's lives. You're too involved. You're not involved in your own life. You're too involved in somebody else getting saved, with somebody else's a project, and your life is lost and out of control. So silence the voices around you. Distraction steals destiny. When we cannot sit still, we cannot think deeply enough to hear God, to reflect, to repent, to strategize, to dream, to make wise decisions. The author shows that distractions make people reactive instead of proactive. I'm always reacting to something. I'm not proactive. Emotional instead of thoughtful. I'm just emotional. And I hate to say it, church can promote emotionalism, where if you're preaching, they used to tell me when I first started preaching, come on now, bring it. And I felt pushed in my sermons to hurry up, make the point, and get on down to the point. Oh, come on, say yeah. The goal, my measurement of success was how emotional your response was, not how deep your thought was. I wasn't supposed to motivate you to think. I was supposed to motivate you to be excited and to somehow respond so everybody can see it. Fall out. There's got to be some kind of demonstrative response. And so with that as a goal, no wonder people get caught up in emotionalism. But this is my opinion, right on the border of that, there's a lot of things that live in the land of emotionalism. Sex, temptation, lust, drinking, all the things that churches are with in their membership, because they train them to be emotional and not thoughtful. I'm not saying because you worship and you're demonstrative that you're going to somehow become out of control morally. What I'm saying is you're training people not to think. You're saying things that aren't biblical. You're jumping around the Bible, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I like emotions. I like to feel good, but I want my kids to understand. You don't go to school and say 2 times 2 is 4. Come on, somebody say 4. That's not the purpose. This is to be educated so you can count money, do math, live on your own, not live with me for the rest of your life. But sometimes in church, we don't see ourselves as educators. And so my approach to this job is shown in how I do the job. I want you to be excited. I want you to feel good. I want you to have a great time. I want it to be fun. I want to laugh. I want all that. But my main assignment is to teach you algebra, science, math. My main assignment is to teach you the counsel of God, the word of God. If you come out of here and you can shout and dance and feel good, that doesn't mean anything. Because I understand that in the land of emotionalism, you always drift. That's why I love that study we did this week on Solomon. Good God Almighty. That Bible study. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do the whole thing in church. And I got I'm telling you, I'm writing about it. I just love the study I did. I talked about how Solomon did not fall off the cliff. He drifted. 30 years old, he was fine. He was writing Proverbs, mid-20s, 30s. And I went through this whole system. And then he fell off the cliff at 55. Why would you wait so long? I'm just trying to think, dude, come on. You get to 1 Kings 11 when he's with all these 700 wives and 300 concubines. This dude is in his 50s. Help me get this. And so we called it drifting. And I talked about that during the whole prayer. It was great. All right, I ain't got long. All right, people make bad decisions because they don't have enough space to think. That's why I believe in family marriage. You got to have enough space to think. And I really believe in that. I'm a big believer. Zomorodi talks about design practical exercise to help people reset their attention. So you know, she went this whole thing where they had this phone test, right? This whole big test thing they did. Track your phone use. Take a photo-free day. No photos. I'm always amazed. I go to a concert, pay $125 for a ticket, and they're filming it.
Yes. Oh, it's so irritating.
It's just, yeah. I'm saying, and you're never going to look at the video again.
It's not going to have quality.
Yeah, right. And you're never going to. I'm thinking, but here's what they've learned: they gave up because they cannot control it anymore. It's become this dominant. Some places you go, like for example, if you go to New York, or you go, they'll come and get you. They'll come get you. They come make you leave. They won't let you do it in New York. You can't do that in those now on Broadway. No, you hold your camera up, they're gonna come right there and say, "Come here, ma'am. Put that away or leave." You have 2 choices. And if you don't, police come get you. But in New York, they tough enough to say it, and you scared when they say it. You ain't got to get the police. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. You know, so the truth is the huh?
My wife's up there right now.
Oh yeah. It's a whole nother game. Yeah, delete one app that wastes your time. Delete one app that just wastes your time. I love the fact that she talked about the app and how she interviewed the guy. If you heard the audible version of it, the interview was fantastic. I don't know if you had the audible version, but the audible version of the book, where she interviews him, and because in the book she quotes him, but in the app you actually hear his voice. And he created, what's the name of the game she played? Michael Dots. Yeah, dots. Yeah, dot. Yo, you play dots?
No, I just, when I read the parts, it was saying that was not.
Yeah, but she that two dots, two dots, two dots. And at the dot and they said, "Oh, good job."
That whole thing with
Yeah.
David, though, and
Right.
the psychology behind it.
Right.
And
Right, and that's what he talks about because he created it,
yes.
and the goal is to give you rewards. And so if I'm preaching, I get a reward. It's the same thing. It appeals to the same part of the brain. When I say amen, amen. When I say it, feeling me, I feel you. See, there's that reward. That like a dog, you give a dog a bone, right? You give a dog a treat, and so you keep coming back. And sometimes if it's real good, I'll say it again because I want to get that same response, right? It's amazing. Anyway, delete one app. Take a boredom walk. Walk with no phone, no input.
Did anybody else know the term wexing, or was I the only one?
Wexing.
Wexing, texting and walking.
Texting.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's a great word. That sounds so relevant. Did you know it?
Yeah. Observe your creativity. Notice new ideas that emerge. Make a plan for digital boundaries, not rules, but rhythms. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. Screen-free zones are hours. Reclaim part of your day. I did that with the news. That was a big change for me because I'm a big news hound. And I had to just say, I do not start my day with video news or TV news. I read it to make sure the world's still here. And then I pick the articles I want to read, 2 or 3, and then that's it. And if I'm going to watch it, there's a time limit, 30 minutes. I'm not going to watch an hour, 2 hours. So what you're doing is watching over and over and over and over again, same stories. Yes.
What you mentioned about not watching the news and so forth, for a very, very long time, I had this, I don't deal with my phone until I do all my other stuff that I'm going to do, whatever. When you have your Bible on your phone and it forces you to have the phone that you become. I found myself being distracted with that, which I, recognized it and put other stuff.
Because the notifications pop up and
Still,
you rarely will watch on Instagram. You almost always watch 3 or 4, 5 or 6, always. And it's designed that way. And so you can't fault them for being successful. We can learn how to manage it. I got to close. Boredom strengthens emotional health, though. When you allow silence, anxiety decreases, internal dialogue becomes clearer. Again, boredom strengthens emotional health. Anxiety decreases, internal dialogue becomes clearer. Emotions settle, perspectives improve, self-awareness increases. Many people confuse boredom with loneliness, but the book teaches us that boredom is absence. It is presence. Boredom is not absence. It is being present, being in the moment. I think it's a great book. I think it's helpful to me. I think it's helped me in relationships and planning. I like the fact that I feel justified scientifically for slowing down and not just being overworked. So I want to take next. I got 3 minutes. I got to run out to the next gathering, or 5 minutes. Anybody have a question for me about this book or a thought or a comment? And you're welcome online to type it in.
Since you read the book, have you decreased your screen time?
Yeah, okay. But I think I have. But because I take so much technology, I'm forced into my workplace. But I'm very conscious of it, which is, it's where I work. But it really helps me in so many ways. It's like my assistant, like you just heard, right? It comes right alongside me, and you can ask it all kind of questions. Doesn't get tired, but yeah. Anybody else have a question for me? Okay, let's talk about the next book that is coming down the pike. And I am surprised that this book has jumped in my heart and mind, but it is a great book, and it's on family. Sheila recommended a book called for the Women. Sheila, that book called The Women of Christmas. Wow. I don't know if you guys, I'm going to just mention this. We're not going to read it this season, but it's called The Women of Christmas. That thing by Elizabeth, Mary, it's about Elizabeth, Mary, and Anna. And I'm trying to see her name. Liz Curtis. Liz Curtis Higgs, Higgs. The Women of Christmas. That's just a bad book. I just love it. man, Christmas is coming up. I can make a decision to change, can I? I can do that for him. Let's. I mean, it's three ladies that are profoundly amazing. And I don't. Yeah, and so that's gonna be after Christmas. Oh wait, what's that? We'll do it next. We'll do it next week. Okay, let me get to the one. I'm telling you, it's a bad book, so you read it on. But the name of the book is called Rules of Estrangement by Joshua Coleman. Rules of Estrangement by Joshua Coleman. I don't know how to show you, but a lot of families are estranged, and it talks about why there is so much estrangement. Married, divorce, estrangement, dealing with mental illness and addictions, and how it leads to estrangement, which means you don't have any communication. You and your family have no conversation at all. What member of your family don't you talk to? What member of your family is estranged from you? A child, from parent. It's amazing. It's thousands of people, millions of people. I think a third, something like that. A large number of family members have not talked to each other in a year or two. And there's tension. And why is there tension? Class points, gender identity is a big issue. Sexuality is a big issue. You can't accept my sexuality. To my parents because they challenged me. So they justify by saying, you caused me mental illness. And so they run from any kind of advice or input. Estrangement's a great read. It's called The Rules of Estrangement, Why Adult Children Cut Ties and How to Heal the conflict.
Would you recommend the book for those that don't have children or that are not estranged?
Sure, because it goes beyond
Okay.
children. It taught family members in general and principles of why you and your sister don't get along, why you and your dad don't get along. It's a great book. Okay.
The author's name
It's Joshua Coleman, Coleman, Joshua Coleman. So thank you for being with me. My time's up. I got another gathering. Starts now with the seniors. And we're going to talk about aging. It's going to be wonderful. And I have a special guest. I do have a special guest that you don't want to miss. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Lord, for this time. I pray your blessing upon this read. We thank you for the power of reading in Jesus' name. Amen. Bye-bye. Gotta get that cough out. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. Have a good day.